For people who don't know much of any history about the Beatles, you should all know right off that John is not as good of a person as everybody thinks he was. In all reality, John was a pretty scummy guy, and though he's generally considered the best of the Beatles, at least in my mind, he's one of the weaker ones, because he was not a good guy. And this song is a good example of showing that side of him, as the whole thing is actually based off of an affair that he had. John obviously represented the guy, and it's controversial on who the lady in the song represented, but it's generally seemed to be either a groupie or a journalist. Paul helped write a few lyrics for the song, but he never saw in the song that it was about an affair. He simply took it as just a fun little story that John came up with. In all reality, though, John was actually trying to kind of come out that he had an affair with his wife. And it wasn't just this one. He had dozens of affairs against his first wife. John was always famous at first because he was the first married Beatle, but he was not in a happy marriage, at least on his side. He didn't love his wife, he hated his kid. He didn't know what to do. On the other hand, though, this song is really calming. It's very soothing, and it's actually the first Beatles song to include the sitar. The sitar, of course, meaning the Indian instrument that George Harrison introduced to the group. I think it's used really well in this song, too. The sitar is kind of a weird instrument for me. On one hand, it can create some of the greatest songs of all time, or on the other hand, it can make Within You Without You,
which is on their best album and no one's allowed to have a different opinion.
Not to say that Within You Without You is a horrible song, but it just uses way too much sitar for my liking. And this has a really good mix of it. It's used sparingly, and it adds to the style of the song. Overall, this is a really nice song. It just has more of a depressing history to it. This song is a little strange in the way that there's not a lot of history to it. The whole song is just compiled of off-topic memories that John had over his lifetime. The whole title and chorus of the song, Cry Baby Cry, was simply based off of an advertisement that he saw in passing one day. After seeing the ad, he thought nothing of it, but 2 years after seeing it, it came back to him, and he decided to write a song around it. Other parts of the song he based off of old nursery rhymes or stuff he would hear on the playground at school. Cry baby cry, stick a finger in your eye, stuff like that. But other than that, there's really not much else to say about this song, at least in terms of its history. But the song itself is, in my opinion, beautiful. There's a playlist on my computer that I call Ear Molasses, which is just a compilation of all kinds of songs that are in some way beautiful or calming or soothing, something that's just really nice and rich to hear. And this song is without a doubt on that list. It's so calming. I don't know if the lyrics really have anything to do with anything, because the lyrics are a bit nonsense, but by itself, the song and just the way everything flows, it feels very, very calming. The Beatles don't have a lot of very melodic music. It's more upbeat and high tempo and stuff, and that's fine. I love the Beatles, and that's most of their music. But say, take something like REO Speedwagon, for example. A lot of their music has some really melodic, beautiful melodies in there that you just don't really hear in Beatles songs a lot. But I think this comes pretty close to that, as well as a few others much farther down on the list. The White Album is one of their best albums, and it's got the best mix of songs, I think, out of any of their other albums. And this is one of the best songs on it. But hey, we're almost out of the 90s. We just got one more to go. And, now that I think about it, it's February! So I hope you've enjoyed my first month of this little Beatles series, and I hope you stick around for the rest of the year, because we got plenty of other things to do. See you next weekend.